What's up, everybody? It's Sam here from the Gambling Corner podcast. And before we get to your scheduled program, I'm here to tell you about Anchor. It's now easier than ever to start your own podcast. Their free app gives you everything you need to get your podcast off the ground. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or computer. And if you're worried about getting your podcast heard, don't worry. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. What's up, everybody? My name's Sam, and this is the Gambling Corner, brought to you by Fat Lad Sports. Coming up on today's show, we're going to preview this weekend's football. We'll also be joined later on in the show today by the real star of the show, Mr. Liam Doe, to give you his picks, thoughts, likes and dislikes on all the upcoming weekend action. I want to talk to you about Baxter Blue. Do you experience digital eye strain from too much blue light exposure from digital screens? Baxter blue light glasses are not your average frames. These blue light lenses filter 80% of the highest energy blue light, eliminating 99% of glare. This past year we have all been glued to our devices more than ever. I know I have, constantly refreshing Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, and the all-important gambling sites too. Our exposure to digital light has soared, and our eyes and sleep are suffering as a result. Baxter Blue are also a force for good and provide a pair of reading glasses for somebody in need for every pair sold. This is eyewear built for our digital age, and Baxter Blue is giving our listeners 10% off your next purchase of blue light, sleep or kids glasses. Click the link in our show description for your exclusive discount. This is the sign you've been waiting for to invest in blue light glasses. We know you'll love your Baxters, and we know you'll feel the difference. Alright, everybody, let's get into it then. On Friday, the first Premier League game of the weekend sees Everton play Spurs. Everton are 11-5, Spurs 6-5, and the draw 12-5. To be honest with you, I don't really want either part of these sides going into this game. Everton, 1 win in 8 games, drawing 2. 2 of those 8 going over 2.5 goals. Everton, 3 wins in 10 in the league, each one of those wins being to 0. Only 2 over 2.5s in the last 10 as well. 7 of 10 Everton games have ended to 0 one way or another. Spurs have scored 40 of their 52 league goals in the first hour of games. They have a +8 away from home goal difference, and similarly bad away record to Everton's home record, 2 wins in 7 away from home. My advice to anyone looking for a bet on the Everton and Spurs game would probably be don't bother, I'd steer clear. I certainly will be steering clear. So on we go to Saturday, and Newcastle host West Ham in the lunchtime kickoff. Newcastle 14-5, West Ham even money, and the draw is 12-5. Newcastle have the 16th best home record with 17 points in 15 games. Similarly, West Ham have the 10th best away record with 24 points for 15 games. West Ham, 1 loss in 5, which was to Manchester United. Since the turn of the year, West Ham have lost 3 games to Manchester United, Manchester City and Liverpool. They've drawn 2 against Fulham and Arsenal, and they've won the other 10. And West Ham have 2 wins, 2 losses and a draw in the last 5 away games, scoring 7 and conceding 6. On the Newcastle side of things, their better attacking players are starting to come back from injury, although they are going to be without their captain Jamal Lascelles. So they've kept 1 clean sheet in 10 games, which was a 0-0 draw with West Brom. So their clean sheet is absolutely nothing to write home about. And Newcastle have scored 37.5% of their goals this season in the league in the last 15 minutes. So it's 12 of 30 goals. They have scored a grand total of 9 goals all season in the first half, and 1 clean sheet at home all season too. So I have a lean towards the first half result, and I like West Ham to win the first half, and you can get that at around 13-8. And then another game that I want absolutely zero part of is the Wolves and Sheffield United game at 8:15 on Saturday. Wolves 8-13, Sheffield United 5-1, and the draw 13-5. It's no shock to anybody that Sheffield United have got the worst away record. They've got 4 points all season. They've failed to score on 9 of 15 trips away from home this season. They have conceded 2 or more goals 8 times out of those 15 away games. They've scored 2 or more once and 5 straight defeats away from home. My only thing keeping me off Wolves is obviously with Raul Jimenez out, they've now lost Pedro Neto as well. And their win against Fulham ended a 4-game run without a win, so neither side's in good form. I'm not going to bet on it personally, and I don't think you should either. But if you're going to bet on it, there's obviously only one side to be on, and that is the Wolves side. Nobody sane could make a case for Sheffield United to win that game, I don't feel. So that takes us on to Sunday, and there are 2 Premier League games on Sunday. Arsenal play Fulham, and before that, Manchester United play Burnley. So I actually have a pick on both of those games, so I haven't really written anything for it. Again, similarly to the Wolves game, there is only one side, I believe, to be on those 2 games. So that was it for them until later on when we get chatting to Mr. Liam Doe. So that takes us all the way to Monday night, and we have Leeds and Liverpool. Leeds are currently 15-4, Liverpool 8-13, and the draw 16-5. Leeds don't really draw. They've had 3 draws in the league all season, and they're coming off 3 straight wins. 7 of 13 Leeds games have ended with both teams scoring. They've won the last 3 games 2-1. 11 of their last 18 games have gone over 2.5 goals. And the reverse fixture was 4-3 to Liverpool on the opening day of the season. It's a really big all-in spot for Liverpool for their top 4 hopes, obviously, after going out of the Champions League during the week. They're currently 3 points behind 4th place West Ham, so if West Ham beat Newcastle, that would obviously make it a 6-point gap with Liverpool playing later on. 3 straight wins for Liverpool after a run of 3 wins in 14 league games. Both teams to score in Liverpool games has happened 5 in the last 15. The line really is moving on Leeds. On Monday when I checked this, so that was a week in advance of the game, Leeds were 21-4. So that was on Monday night. By Tuesday morning, they were 15-4. So there was a big line move somewhere, which has obviously sharpened up the line a little bit. I expect those lines to close a little bit tighter than that as well as we get more action on it coming closer to game day. Liverpool have had 1 defeat in 6 away from home. Leeds 6 wins at home this season, keeping 5 clean sheets. It's got all the ingredients to have goals in it, this game, obviously, the way that Leeds play, the way Liverpool play. So, again, like most of the Premier League games this weekend, I really want no part of it at all. So, yeah, that's a pass from me. Sandwiched in between the Premier League football this weekend is the 2 FA Cup semi-finals, starting with Chelsea and Man City on Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Chelsea with 2 defeats in 6 in all competitions. Chelsea have scored 10 goals in 4 FA Cup games, conceding only 1. 18 games since Tuchel has come in, they've kept 13 clean sheets, which is obviously now 19 and 13 after their last-minute loss against Porto during the week. Aside from the West Bromwich Albion game, they have not conceded more than 1 goal. Each of the last 5, Chelsea have scored twice. And 8 of 15, they've scored 2 or more. On the Manchester City side, 11 goals scored and 2 conceded in the Cup. Manchester City have scored in all but 1 of their games, going back to a 0-0 draw with Manchester City in December, aside from, obviously, a well-publicised 2-0 loss to United 2. So they failed to score once in 30 games, which once in 31 now with their win against Dortmund. and 2 defeats in 36 games in all competitions. So I think that's going to be a very, very tight game based on Chelsea. And then on Sunday at 6:30, we have Leicester and Southampton. Leicester 2 straight losses after winning 3 in a row. Looking at the fixtures, it's 1, obviously a great chance to get to a final, but 2, it's a big stretch of fixtures for their entire season. They have, obviously, this game on Sunday. They then have 4 very winnable league games against West Brom, Palace, Southampton and Newcastle before they play Manchester United, Chelsea and Spurs. So basically Leicester's season can boil down to the next 5 games. If they get a result here, obviously great, they've got an FA Cup final, but if they win their next 4, they really would have consolidated their top 4 spot and Champions League football next season. So Southampton are 4 wins in 15, including 2 in the last 5. Interestingly, only 1 draw in those last 15. Leicester only 4 draws. So I do like this game to be decided in normal time. Obviously, if you're betting on the team to win, that's a 90-minute market. You want to get on there to qualify or to win the tie, etc., etc., rather than just seeing the price on Leicester at 17 to 20 to beat an out-of-form Southampton side, thinking yes. And if it does go to extra time, which I feel is unlikely, obviously we would then lose our bet anyway. But if you have them to win the tie, to qualify, etc., etc. And Southampton conceded 2 or more in 9 of 15 games, of the last 15 games, and 5 goals have been 5 games, should I say, have been decided by 1 goal in the last 15. So again, another tight one, probably FA Cup semi-final will always be tight, but I do like this one to be decided in normal time, whichever way you go, and my lean is towards Leicester for that one. So hopefully that's the end of me being on this podcast on my own, and the next time you hear us, Mr. Liam Doe shall be with us to give you his 5 picks for the weekend. Hi, Bart.
What's up, mate? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Are you?
Yeah, all good, bud.
I have officially got wires coming out of my arse.
Nice.
Now, with this little mixer that I bought, and it's very strange because I can hear myself at like a 1/10 of a second delay in my own headphones. So it's almost like you can hear yourself and you're drunk.
Your audio sounds a little bit strange.
Yeah, it will do. It's a little bit more. It sounds a bit sort of zoomy rather than something else, and a bit more echoey and stuff. It's because it's so sensitive.
Okay.
So if I'm for reference, I'm tapping on an air hockey table here. It's like so you can fucking hear everything.
Correct.
But I have got some cool sound effects. So
Brilliant.
and I can also do this, which is obviously the main reason I bought it, which is great for you being on here now, because I've recorded about 20 minutes worth of audio, so a lot of people will appreciate this.
Oh, wow.
So when I get my first cease and desist letter from Leonard Cohen, you'll know we've made it.
Definitely.
But I wanted to introduce you properly. So here he is after people having to listen to me speak for 20 minutes. He's finally here. So let's introduce him properly. Liam Doe.
Hey, yo. You ready? Let's do it. Yeah. Come on. I'm the definition of.
So Diddy will definitely send us a cease and desist letter, I feel.
Let's hope so.
Well, now we've made it then.
What an intro.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
an
I
intro.
thought that was quite apt. From Leonard Cohen to P. Diddy, where else would you get it?
Brilliant.
So I've gone through all of the Premier League stuff. The only stuff I didn't sort of go through specifically was the Manchester United and Arsenal game, because obviously I've got a pick on those games. So
Okie
we
doke.
don't need to worry about anything like that at all. We can just go through some picks that
Brilliant.
we have. So should I just run through mine then, and then if you come up with any, then fantastic, and if not, then okie doke. We'll just go with what we got, sort of job.
Yeah, I'm currently on 4.
Oh, you
So
got 4.
I've got 4 at the moment, mate. So I'm currently
Fucking
doing a
hell.
bit of
Fair play
browsing.
to you.
Currently doing a bit of browsing, so potential to find a 5th within the time that you work. We shall see. But yeah, I've got 4 that I like.
All right, well that's great. If you've got 4, you've got 4. I think we should just sort of go from there then, really,
Okie
because
doke.
we have 9 then between us, don't we? So
We've got 9 to choose, whittle down to our 5 that we're going to play.
yeah,
Right, sounds good. Yeah. If you go with your number 5 first.
yeah, I'll go with my number 5 first.
Nice.
There's a voice changer on it as well, right? So I've been playing around most of the day with like your intro and stuff because there's like a real high pitched female voice.
All right, yeah.
So when Bad Boys for Life has been playing, I've been sort of screaming into the microphone as a high pitched woman, and I can obviously hear it in my headphones. Very, very immature yet very fun.
We're adding to the pod every week, folks.
Yeah. So I'm just looking here. That sheet is pointless. So these are in no particular order except for my number 1 pick,
Okay.
because that's what I didn't do. Oh, sorry, I have a 1 and a 2, and then I have 3, 4, and 5 that sort of much of a muchness, really. First of all, my first pick is going to be on Monaco.
Okay.
And Monaco, as we know, are 3rd in the French league. They are 1 point behind 2nd place Paris Saint-Germain and 1 point in front of 4th place Lyon. Bordeaux, who are their opponents, won 3 games in a row in January. Since then, they've won 1, drawn 1, and lost 9 of their last 11. Their last win was a 3-1 win against bottom of the side Dijon, who have 2 wins all season. Although they've only failed, Bordeaux they've only failed to score in 4 of the last 11 and have scored 10 goals in 11. They've had 5 wins at home all season. Since mid-December, as we know, that Monaco have really sort of turned the season around after they lost 3 games in a row. They have 1 defeat in 17 games, 6 clean sheets in 7. The only time they didn't keep a clean sheet, they lost 1-0 to Strasbourg in the 90th minute, which was obviously their loss. They are currently averaging over the last 18 games 3.8 goals per game scored, and they've only conceded 15 in those 18 games. Is it Wasim or Hassim Ben Yedder, the striker, scored 4 in his last 2?
Yeah.
They've won 7 out of away league games. 4 out of 8 have been both teams to score. Monaco have scored 21 in those 8 games that have been both teams to score, conceding 9. The line is moving on Monaco. When I looked them up, they were 4-5, but now they're into 4-6. So I can only see that shortening. So, as we always say, I would say bet early.
Yeah, nice.
So that was me Monaco one. And then on to Barnsley. Barnsley 5th, played 21st place Coventry. We'll just check the Coventry squad. Let me grab my phone.
I wonder what.
Coventry.
I believe that when I just looked, they're 1-0 up away at Rotherham.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said to you, wasn't it? I like Coventry on the double chance mark.
Yeah.
The other day. So they're fifth place Barnsley playing 21st place Coventry. Coventry 6 points above Rotherham, so they're now obviously 9 points above. No, 6 points because Rotherham played on Tuesday, didn't they?
Yeah.
But Rotherham have games in hand. Coventry play Rotherham on Thursday. Blah blah blah. As I was writing this, Coventry had won 5 of 18, so that's obviously 6 of 19 now. They've won 1 of 5, 3 losses and 1 draw. Barnsley, another team that turned their season around, much like Monaco, 1 defeat in the league since the 27th of January, drawing 4 and winning 11 since then. Aside from their defeat, 7 of those games have been decided by 1 goal. So Barnsley don't particularly score very many goals, and their games seem to be always close. 9 of their 16 games, Barnsley have scored 2 or more, which would obviously suggest that they have won a lot of games 2-1. It's a fantastic situational spot as well for Barnsley, because after Coventry, they've got Huddersfield and then Rotherham. So with 3 wins, they can really, really, really sort of cement their playoff place. So I don't see any kind of look-aheads or anything like that. Interestingly enough, Barnsley's away record is really good. There's 6 wins of 7 away from home. And those 6 wins have all come in a row. And 5 of those 7 games, they've scored 2 or more. And Barnsley, again, a stat that I found interesting was that they scored their largest proportion of goals after the 75th minute. So that was my Barnsley pick my 4th pick, but in no particular order.
Okie doke.
So then, should talk into the microphone, really, shouldn't I? Okay, we'll go with this one. And I then have a double. The double is Young Boys and Leipzig. With the Leipzig, I'll start with Leipzig. Leipzig are playing 3rd place Luango. Not Leipzig, sorry at all. Young Boys. Young Boys play 3rd place Luango, who are unbeaten in 5, winning 4, keeping 3 clean sheets. That's Young Boys, that is. Sorry, that was Luango. Sorry, I do apologise. Before this 5-game run, they played 35 games in all competitions, winning 13, losing 7 and drawing 15. So they draw a lot of games, Luango. Each team play each other 4 times in Switzerland. Young Boys last lost in the league on the 13th of December. So 18 games since then, winning 12, scoring 39 in those 18 and conceding 14. Their defeat in December, snapping a 15-game unbeaten run before that, of which they won 12. So they don't lose very often, Young Boys. In the 3 games between the 2 sides, this being the 4th and last time they'll play each other in the league, Young Boys have won all 3 by a total of 7 goals to 1. And then onto the Leipzig side of things. 2nd place Leipzig playing 12th place. Forgotten who they're even playing. Hoffenheim, who have won 1 and lost 3 of their last 5. That's Hoffenheim. Earlier in the season, Hoffenheim went on a 5-game winning run. Since then in the league, they've played 26 games. They've won 6, lost 13 and drawn 7, including a 1-0 home loss to Leipzig in December. Leipzig, again, since the turn of the year, played 22 games, winning 14, losing 3 and drawing 5. They scored 40 goals in those 22 games, conceding 18. Leipzig have only failed to score on 3 occasions all season and have only conceded 11 goals at home as well. Hoffenheim have had 8 wins all season, 3 away from home. Have conceded 28 of their 47 goals away from home too. They're both, when I wrote this, both sides were 2-5, so the double paid 0.96 to 1, which Young Leipzig play on Friday and Young Boys play on Sunday. And then I shall go to, if I can find it. Yeah, we'll go with that one, considering that's the only one available. Leipzig. There we go. So these last two picks of mine are very similar in terms of what I would call strength. I like them both very much. So I've got the Sunday Premier League game as a double, Arsenal and Manchester United. So on the Arsenal side, they're obviously playing Fulham. 72% of Arsenal's goals come in the 15th and 75th minute. The home record isn't fantastic. 6 wins and 3 draws in those 15 games. They actually have a -7 goal difference at home. And they've failed to score in 7 of their home games this season. 2 defeats in 8 for Arsenal to Liverpool and Man City. 6 of the last 8 games have gone over 2.5 goals. On the other side, as I said earlier, it's more of a play on against Fulham than on Arsenal. 4 straight defeats. They've only scored 2 goals in those 4 games. A lot of people had said how Fulham had resurrected their form before this little slump. But I looked into it and they'd actually only won 3 of 11. But again, by the same token, they'd only lost 3 as well. So they'd drawn a lot of games. 2 wins in 6 away from home for Fulham, beating Liverpool and Everton. Before those 2 in 6, they'd only won 1 game away from home and they failed to score in 5 out of the 15 away games. So that was why I liked Arsenal. And to pair that in with Manchester United, Man United had the 3rd best home record in the league. Burnley with the 17th best away record. Manchester United 1 defeat in 11 home games, drawing 2. Both teams to score have happened 6 of 11 games. 3 straight home wins for Man United. Burnley 1 win in 8, drawing 4, losing 3. 2 straight defeats. They lost their first 3 games, but haven't lost 3 in a row since. But Burnley have lost 2 in a row on 3 occasions. And the games after the 2 games that they'd lost in a row, they had 2 draws and 1 win. So there's something there to look out for. I don't feel like it'll affect us too much. And also, away from home, Burnley have scored less than 2 goals in 9 of 12. So that's why I like that one. There's a little bit of scepticism potentially about the Arsenal one, but again, that was more of a play on the Fulham side of things rather than the Arsenal side of it. And then my last one is another double of PSG and Peterborough.
Mm-hmm.
So we have PSG 4 wins in 5. 11 in 15, 3 defeats and 1 draw, 5 clean sheets in those 15. Both teams scored 7 of those 15. They're playing 13th place St Etienne, who actually have won 3 of their last 5 and 7 of 15, but only 2 wins in 7 at home, winning their last game 4-1 against Bordeaux, who we're playing against obviously in the Monaco pick. But in that 4-1 defeat, the goal for Bordeaux was a penalty, and 2 of St Etienne's goals were penalties as well. So he had 3 penalties in the one game. St Etienne went 9 without a win at home earlier on in the season. A draw with Lille and a 4-5-0 defeat to Monaco and Lyon is their record against the top 4 at home. Top scorer Wabi Kazri has scored 5 of his 7 league goals in the last 4 games. And in all competitions, PSG are averaging 33 goals. Have scored 33 goals in 15 games. And 9 straight away wins in the league as well for PSG. Keeping 5 clean sheets and only 1 defeat in 15 games away from home with 7 clean sheets. And then on the other side of that is Peterborough. Peterborough have 4 defeats in 24 league games, unbeaten in 4, keeping 3 clean sheets and scoring 12 goals, including 7 at home to Accrington. They're 5 points clear of Sunderland, who are playing Blackpool on Saturday and then Hull. So it's a really good spot for potentially Peterborough to stretch that lead over Sunderland in the automatic promotion places. I like the motivational spot there. They're playing Northampton, who are in the relegation zone, 2 wins in 5, 4 wins in 15, drawing 4 and losing 7. They haven't won away from home for 14 league games, drawing 5 and losing 9, failing to score in 8 of those 14. And Northampton have scored 34 goals all season in the league, but they've conceded 35 in their 20 away games. So those were my 5 picks.
Nice.
That I found out there.
Okie doke. Well, I've ended up with 5 as well.
You got 5,
I've got
yeah?
5.
Happy days.
So, whittling them down was a little bit tough into our weighted picks that we usually do. But I think I've found an order that I like. So I'll start from the bottom and I'll work my way up to my favourite.
Yeah.
My 5th weighted pick is Charlton versus Ipswich, and that's a Charlton home win. That's 3 o'clock on Saturday. Obviously, being lit.
They're 12:30 now.
12:30 on Saturday.
All the games are 12:30 on Saturday, aren't they? All the Championship League 1, League 2.
Well, 12:30 on Saturday, Charlton play Ipswich. I'm going for a Charlton home win. Charlton at the moment, unbeaten in 8, winning 5 of those games, so on a really good run in League 1 at the perfect time for a playoff push. 3 wins in their last 4, and they've won their last 2 on the bounce. They're now up to 8th place, 3 points off the playoffs, with a game in hand on Portsmouth, who are currently 6th. So if they win this, obviously not their game in hand, but yeah, they can close the gap on Pompey. And they're playing Ipswich, who have been poor, to say the least, away from home. And just in general, to be honest, no win in the last 3, no away win in 6, and they've lost 4 out of those 6 away games. So I've gone for a Charlton home win there to carry on the form against the out of form Ipswich. My 4th weighted pick would be a Swansea and AC Milan double. Did you say Championship games are at 12:30 as well?
Yeah, Championship League 1, League 2. They're all 12:30.
So Swansea have got Wickham on Saturday at 12:30. Swansea went on a poor run, but have won their last 2 on the bounce. And generally speaking, their home form has been very good, with 11 wins, 5 draws, 4 losses at home. And Wickham we've played against before. Don't have to say too much about them. Lost 6 of their last 10. Lost 13 out of 20 away games. So both in our favour here for a Swansea home win. And the other half of that is AC Milan home win versus Genoa. That's Sunday at 11:30. Again, this is kind of similar to last week. I played on AC Milan because they needed the wins at the moment. Currently, Serie A, if you don't pay too much attention, Inter Milan have pretty much got it wrapped up. But the 4 from 2nd to 5th is actually really tight. So AC Milan on 63 points, Juve on 62, Atalanta on 61, and Napoli on 59. Obviously, top 4 in that league get Champions League. So you've got 4 teams battling it out for 3 spots. And AC Milan, being top of the tree of those 4 at the moment, need to carry on winning their games, as they don't want to be caught up. Generally speaking, they've been better away from home than at home, but still a positive win ratio for them with 6 wins, 5 draws and 4 losses at home. But they're playing against Genoa, which made me like it even more, despite the fairly average home form for AC. Genoa last 4 away, 1 win, 3 losses, but the 3 losses stuck out for me. They lost 3-1 to Juventus away from home, lost 1-0 at Roma, and lost 3-0 at Inter Milan. So against the 3 bigger sides, they've lost away from home their last 3, which made me like it even more coming up against an AC Milan. Maybe their heads are down whenever they play these big boys. They don't have anything to play for. They're comfortable in the Serie A. So an AC Milan have everything to play for. Like I said, the teams are kind of just behind them, which made me like that side even more. So that one was a AC Milan and Swansea double, coming at 1.17 to 1. So just
My only thing about that, isn't Zlatan suspended?
he may well be.
I think he got sent off. I know he got sent off. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before.
I'll find out while I'm chatting away. To be fair, even if he was out, they've played plenty of games without him.
Oh yeah. No, I fully appreciate that. I just wanted to make
sent
sure.
Off last game.
Yeah, I thought so. Right at the end as well, wasn't it?
So, but I wouldn't worry too much. That's the 4th weighted pick that I went for. 3rd weighted pick was Arsenal against Fulham, because I was quite surprised at Arsenal at 8-11. To be honest, there's quite good odds on them. And similar to you, it's more of a play against Fulham, and therefore 4 straight losses for a team that are making a push to stay up. I can't see it myself, and they went on a little run, and then since then, 4 straight losses. I can't see it happening. Just to trend to back up your point as well, obviously you're a bit touch and go with the Arsenal side of it. There's a nice trend for you here. Played 6 against the bottom 4, won 6 against the bottom 4. So that's what made me like it even more. Just dipped into the last 8 home games for Arsenal, 4 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, but the 2 losses being against City and Liverpool. You don't read too much into that. Generally speaking, all right at home. And just the trend of them tending to beat they do beat the worst sides in the league, so I don't think they'll struggle too much against Fulham. And at 8-11, I love that price, considering you'd usually get it 1-2, maybe even 1-3.
Yeah. Well, I think that has to go straight in then, doesn't it? Just a straight Arsenal. We've got a double like on Arsenal, so that'll definitely be an
And then my 2 weighted pick was actually one that I stumbled across fairly late. Is actually Nice away win at Dijon, who aren't mustard.
Yep.
They ain't. So Dijon, 13 losses in a row. So you don't really have to say too much off that. But 15 points off 18th with 6 games to play. So I would say it's fairly comfortable that they're going to go down. So in that regard, not much to play for. And their 13 prior losses would probably say that as well. And then Nice, on the other hand, just to look at that, they're currently 3-4 to win this game, which again is quite a good price considering Dijon are pretty much rolling over at the moment. Just to put away any kind of worries, their last 4 for Nice, 2 wins, 2 draws. So they've been fairly comfortable in their last 3 away games. They've won 2, drawn 1. So it's not like they're coming up against a poor side in Nice. Nice are quite good anyway. They've got a few good players. Unfortunate not to do too much in the league this year, but just in case anyone was worrying about the Nice side, I wouldn't worry too much about them. They've got quite a good team there, so I like that more. Obviously, more of a play against Dijon, just rolling over at the moment. And then my first weighted pick is a double of Benfica and Lyon. So Saturday night is Benfica versus Gil Vicente. Benfica, after having a hit and miss season, have actually won 7 in a row now. Had 5 home wins in a row, and they're 3 points clear of 4th place Braga. So as we've said on previous pods, top 3 go Champions League. So they need to carry on the good form to stay ahead of Braga, who are also having a good season. There's no kind of letdown spot. They need to win this game. Gil Vicente, just a bit of a weird trend, haven't drawn any in the last 15. It's either wins or losses. They've won 6, lost 9 in the last 15. But in the 15 losses, the ones that stuck out for me, they lost versus Braga, they lost versus Sporting, and they lost versus Porto twice. And they also have nothing to play for again. I think they're 10th, so fairly comfortable in the league. They're not going to go up, get anywhere near Europa League. They're not going to be anywhere near to the bottom. So I've got Benfica as one part, and then Lyon as the second part. And that's more of a play against Nantes, to be fair. No win in their last 3, 2 straight losses in a row, and their home record is dreadful. 2 wins, 8 draws, 6 losses. Only 2 wins in their last 15 games in general, losing 7 of those. And Lyon have been in quite good form. In their last 9, they've had 5 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss. The loss coming against PSG. And also just another part to play in that, which made me like it even more. It's top 3 in France that get Champions League. Obviously, Monaco have gone on a very good run, so they've just jumped into 3rd, but they're only a point above Lyon. So Lyon sitting in 4th at the moment are only getting Europa League. So they need to get top 3 for Champions League, which means they're going to need to win these kind of games, especially with Monaco in their good form. So Lyon as the other part of that double.
And that was your
my
first weighted pick, yes? Okay, so quickly then, I'll go through, as I was writing that down, the 5 that I've got, and if there's anything that you want to say, say it now. So the 5 that I've gone for are Benfica and Lyon, obviously. Arsenal, as we both had those in. Monaco, Nice, and Young Boys and
Sounds
Leipzig.
good to me, mate.
Anything else that you want to live and die on? That what you wanted to go in there?
No, nothing I'd live and die on. If I was going with my five picks, I think I'd go comfortable 3 and 2. But yeah, obviously my top 3 are all in there, so I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah, well, top 2.5 really, isn't it? So we're not being sly. Whereas you've got more picks in there than me.
Yeah.
Essentially, we've got 2.5 each really.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, mate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're happy with that, I will let you crack on because it is now 9:30, and you've got work in the morning.
Ready to go again.
Yeah,
I can't, mate. I'm absolutely loving it. I can't wait to become a full-time bettor. Then you don't have to get up early doors.
No.
Here we go.
Dream, mate.
Right, thanks for that, mate. Good luck with your bets, lads.
Oh, mate. No worries.
See you later.
Yeah, good luck, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Bye.